On Friday, President Trump falsely claimed protesters were not motivated by their concerns, but by paychecks from billionaire George Soros instead. Quote,
well, that's a very old, tired, anti-Semitic, very old anti-Semitic trick that people have played,
quote,
usually on the internet, Mika.
The very rude elevator screamers are paid professionals only looking to make senators look bad. Don't fall for it. Also, look at all of the professionally made identical signs paid for by Soros and others. These are not signs made in the basement from love. With the hashtag troublemakers. Trump's comments, which was examined and debunked by the Washington Post, came shortly after this exchange on Fox Business with Judiciary Chair Chuck Grassley.
Do you believe George Soros is behind all of this, paying these people to get you and your colleagues in elevators or wherever they can get in your face?
I tend to believe it. I believe it fits in his attack mode that he has.
Yamiche Alcindor, are these protesters paid, or what do you make of this?
No, I don't think the protesters are paid by George Soros.
You have children in your family. Think about them. I have 2 children. I cannot imagine that for the next 50 years they will have to have someone in the Supreme Court who has been accused of violating a young girl. What are you doing, sir?
It's hard to believe that was just last Friday. And it did seem to push Senator Flake to ask for the FBI's supplemental background check. That was the ray of sunshine. But then came the shade.
Don't you wave your hand at me. I wave my hand at you.
When you grow up, I'll be glad.
When I grow up, we grow up. How dare you talk to women that way? How dare you that first? How dare you?
These are survivors of crimes. Shoo shoo. The president harping on the moment with a fresh conspiracy theory, also known as BS. Just to get something out of the way, who was paid to get in the face of the senators? Either of you?
Nobody was paid.
Anna, were you paid? Just a yes or no.
No, of course not.
Are you a paid professional?
I work for a community organization. I work for a network of community organizations. I've spent my entire adult life building spaces where regular people can collectively act so that politicians listen to us. That's my job. I showed up to the Capitol with hundreds of people that my organization and other organizations brought so that we could tell our stories. But when I was talking to Senator Flake in that moment, I was a woman, I was a mother, I was a survivor, and I was someone who believes that we can connect and through those connections make better decisions for each other.
I want you to elaborate on that because prior to the president's tweet this morning, there were some articles, some news pieces on Fox, elsewhere, places we know he watches, talking about this moment, saying in both of these instances, they were seemingly organic, powerful protests, but in both instances, the women involved came from a nonprofit called Center for Popular Democracy that has received funding from liberal billionaire George Soros. Records show, they mention you, Ana Maria Archila, who confronted Flake, is the group's co-executive director. Perhaps that is where the president is trying to draw this link?
If the president wants to know whether I work for a social justice organization, the answer is yes. And I've worked for a social justice organization since I was 23. That's not news.